Welcome back to the second hour of Jack Tanner's Zarathustra's Out of Body Experience. and, you probably heard of, on a quantum level, when two things communicate instantaneously, but yet they're not connected. That's known as the Einstein-Rosenberg paradox. That's manifested in very small subatomic particles that become entangled, and they can be separated by light years. And when one bit of information changes in one, it instantly manifests in the other particle. Now, one thing that Jack Tanner, Michael Faust seem to favor, and I agree, is a Jungian portrayal of psychology rather than so much Freudian. Jung had a better understanding of archetypes and many of the mystical qualities of dreams and such as that. And I know that you probably have heard, even if it's just from the Police song Synchronicity, of the concept that was coined by Jung, but not certainly invented by him, of synchronicity, where there's independent causality that seems to be tied together. So it's almost like a macro version in the space-time continuum of the Einstein-Rosenberg paradox. So a lot of people laugh at the tarot deck, but I think the tarot deck is an excellent example of synchronicity. So we're going to revisit the second volume of the Dark Tower series, where there are 3 doors. And I know that there's a door that you wish to find an answer to. You have a question that's weighing in your heart at this moment of something you're thinking of. And what I aim to do is use the principles of synchronicity to show you the answer to the question. Now, when you see the card, note the card for the door that you pick. There'll be 3 doors, one on the left, one on the right, and one on the middle. If you want to divine the meaning of the card, if the card is right side up, then it's upright. That's normal position. Just Google it. Google the card. If it's reversed, that means it's upside down. So now, as I shuffle these cards, I want you to think of the question that is weighing on your heart, or something that has been bothering you since you began listening to this presentation. And then we'll resume the presentation, and hopefully all will be well in your universe. So now I've thoroughly shuffled the cards, and let's see if we can get any light in here. The light's kind of shitty. Alright. See, I've thoroughly shuffled these cards. Let's see if I can turn on a light. Shit. Maybe a flashlight? I don't know. Damn. I'm screwed. Alright. So we're just going to keep it simple. We'll cut the cards around so you know I'm not jockeying around with the thing. Okay. The left door is this. The middle door is this. And the right door is this. Well, you can kind of see it. I guess it's not that shitty. Alright. So, for those of you that want the middle door, think that that's the door that your solution lies under. And if you choose the middle door, here's the card that you selected. And that is the Ace of Cups, upright. If you chose the left door when you were thinking about the solution, then you selected the 10 of Pentacles, reversed. And lastly, if you decided you wanted the right-hand path, then you've got the 2 of Swords, upright. So,
maybe if you read into the Google searches and everything and kind of see if that actually answers the question that you had at this point in time, maybe you'll see that there is some validity to the synchronicity oracle that lies within a Rider-Waite tarot deck. So without further ado, we're going to continue Jack Tanner's Zarathustra, out-of-body experience.
Personality. I went walking up and down the garden with him, and to me he was what the Indians call a guru. Did Muhammad conjure the angel Gabriel, as Jung conjured Philemon? Did Moses conjure Jehovah in like manner? Did Jesus conjure a higher being and then identify with that higher being? Sleepwalking. What is sleepwalking? If our conscious mind can be lucid in sleep, in dreams, the unconscious mind can equally be lucid in waking, in the real world, in space-time. This is called sleepwalking. If the lucid conscious can make the unconscious do stuff in the dream world, the lucid, active, unconscious can make the physical body do stuff in the physical world, without the person having the slightest degree of conscious awareness. When you come across any phenomenon at all, you can be more or less certain that it has a mirror image because there is no sufficient reason for something to exist, but not its reflection. Symmetry always applies. Sleepwalking may be regarded as the unconscious mind having an in-body experience, as opposed to the conscious mind having an out-of-body experience. The unconscious is much more attuned to the mental singularity. The conscious mind is much more attuned to the space-time world of matter. Lucid dreaming. An out-of-body experience is to the collective dream what lucid dreaming is to the individual dream. You are conscious in your environment and unencumbered by a physical body. You have complete mental freedom. The seminal dream movie. Inception is a wonderful movie of ideas. It's the ultimate take on lucid dreaming. The lucid dreamers are so skillful that they can steal, extract, secrets from others in shared dreams, or implant, via inception, seminal ideas in others. Inception is all about shared dreaming, facilitated by a specific device, the portable automated Somnacin intravenous, passive, device. This technology administers the drug Somnacin to those taking part. This remarkable, fictional, drug initiates dream sharing and lucid dreaming. A central button, the infusion trigger, activates all intravenous lines at once. Configurable control settings allow for the adjustment of the Somnacin level to achieve specific effects, such as multi-level dreaming. Somnacin is the legal brand drug used for shared dreaming. The underground use illegal versions of the drug. They seek to enhance Somnacin to make dreams deeper, more stable, longer lasting. In Inception, 4 roles are defined with regard to the shared dream. Architect. The architect is the designer of the shared dream space. The architect resembles a video game designer, but he constructs the dream space with his mind rather than with computer code. Architects can build different levels of dream, to allow deeper interaction with the target of the shared dream. Dreamer. The dreamer creates and maintains the shared dream space. The dreamer is usually the architect, although this is not essential. The dreamer brings a subject, target, into the pre-prepared dream space, designed by the architect. In a shared dream, it's essential for one person to take on the role of the dreamer. There can only be one dreamer. Multiple dreamers would destroy the coherence of the dream by causing different architectures to clash head-on. A dreamer's basic needs, such as the need to urinate, will unconsciously affect the dream. The dreamer's fundamental role is to provide the tailored space that the subject of the dream can then populate with his subconscious content, which is achieved in the form of the subject's mental projections. If the subject's subconscious suspects it's in a dream controlled by someone else, its projections will seek out and kill the dreamer and any other foreign presences they detect. Subject. The subject populates the dream space with projections of his subconscious. The subject is the focus of the shared dream. The subject subconsciously fills in details of the dream that would be impossible for the dreamer to construct. Indeed, the whole point of a shared dream, as arranged for espionage purposes, is to get the subject to provide the means to others to manipulate his subconscious. The method of extraction relies on the subject's mind trying to hide secrets within the dream space, which the extractors can then discover and steal. Other sleepers. Other sleepers are lucid dreamers, present in the shared dream to manipulate the subject and either extract secrets from them, or implant ideas in them, inception. Other sleepers can affect the dream events by their actions, but they cannot alter the fundamental structure of the dream. In some cases, they can drag their own subconscious projections into the shared dream. In Inception, Cobb, the protagonist, often projects his wife Moll into the dream, either as herself, as an agent determined to thwart him, or in symbolic forms such as a freight train that crashes through the dream space, creating havoc. A sleeper's dream body within a dream is a projection of their mind and is their avatar in the dream via which they carry out their actions. In an individual dream, as opposed to a shared dream, the personal unconscious serves as the dream architect, the dreamer and the subject, and it generates all of the projections. It probes its own secrets. The passive consciousness is another sleeper in the dream, but it has no clue what is going on and is often getting attacked by the dream, as if it were an unwelcome foreign presence. If the conscious can switch to active mode, then it becomes a lucid dreamer, and that means it can direct the personal unconscious to change the dream architecture and events of the dream. In the collective dream of all monads, the collective mind serves as both the dream architect and the dreamer, and it generates projections, which are all the things of the world, including all avatars, bodies. The subjects of this particular shared dream are the active consciousnesses of all of us, and also the unconscious minds of all animals, and also plants. All conscious minds are all trying to extract each other's secrets, or initiate inception. We can all change the dream architecture via our own individual actions and behavior. The more conscious we are, the more change we can effect. Unconscious animals can bring about much less change than conscious humans, and plants even less. Somnacin. Imagine if we could give somnacin, the drug that enables shared dreaming, to everyone in the world and have everyone involved in a single, public, lucid dream. In fact, we don't need to. The real world is none other than the collective dream, the shared dream. The real world is the public objective dream, not the private subjective dream. It is objective because all of us are participants in it. No mind is left out. The trouble is that we have not achieved lucidity. Why not? For the simple reason that humanity has not understood that it is actually in a collective dream. It still hasn't understood that this is a mental reality, not a physical reality. Everything will change when humans grasp that the mind, not matter, makes everything, that ontological mathematics is right and science wrong. The sole reason why science seems to work is that it uses mathematics. Without mathematics it would be useless. When we dreamers in the shared dream become lucid, we can then all cooperate to change the architecture of this dream and make it a paradise for all of us. What is heaven? It is the world that collective lucid dreamers create once they realize that reality is just one vast mental construct, a dream. No dreamer? Can you have a dream with no dreamer? You can certainly have a dream where everyone is dreaming together, but not one where no one is dreaming at all. Dreams don't dream themselves. Empiricists, since they can't see any dreamer but only the dream world content, are the sorts of people who bizarrely imagine that dreams are self-dreaming. In similar fashion, materialists believe that matter is self-making and requires no designer, no builder, no author, no mind. The empiricists and materialists are equally deluded. This is a mathematical reality of mind and reason, not a scientific reality of matter and unreason. One step removed. In routine dreams, the best our normal consciousness can do is recall it, usually feebly. We do not live the dream with our normal consciousness as we live waking reality with our normal consciousness. The dream is in a sense done to us. We have precious little will and agency in our dreams. We are always reactive and never proactive. Only a lucid dreamer is proactive. In waking reality, we are proactive. In dreams, we are reactive. In waking reality, we live. In dreams, we are lived, so to speak. It is our unconscious mind that is living and acting in normal dreams. In waking reality, we are participants. In dreams, we are more like observers. We observe experiences and events being done to us by the unconscious mind. Lucid dreaming. What is lucid dreaming? It's about waking up inside a dream and then remaining inside that dream. It's about carefully preventing oneself from waking up into everyday reality. To wake up inside the dream permits regular consciousness to take control of the dream and direct it. Consciousness becomes the active driver of the dream rather than its passive passenger. If humanity woke up inside the collective dream, it could then direct that portion of the dream concerned with humanity and the earth. The goal. The supreme goal is to have a lucid dream in waking reality, not merely in private dreams. The gods are those that know that material reality is itself a dream, a construct of mind, hence something that can be adjusted by mind. We are not prisoners of matter. We are the makers of matter, the architects of matter, the controllers of matter. Memories. Some people claim that dreams rely on memory as the basis of their content. This is contradicted by the fact that we can invent new content all the times. This is not remembered content. It's brand new. Dreams in fact make dynamic use of the archetypes of the collective unconscious as their design templates. What would a newborn baby dream of? It has no memories, but it certainly has access to the collective unconscious. Babies have amazing, archetypal dreams. They are closer to divinity than everyone else, except perhaps the dying. The most powerful dream is the last dream. Limbo. In Inception, limbo is defined as unconstructed dream space, raw, infinite subconscious. The character Arthur says, nothing is down there. Except for whatever that might have been left behind by whoever is sharing the dream who was trapped down there before. Limbo is like an unbuilt video game, where there is infinite potential to build any kind of game, any game world. Limbo is the dream world beneath all constructed dreams. So, when you fall out of the last level of constructed dream, the only place where you can end up is limbo, where you may be trapped forever, unless you can wake up. Time down there passes much more slowly down. Minutes in the real world could equate to months or years in limbo. According to the theory presented by Inception, limbo exists as a space that is not dreamt by any one individual. It's a shared space where any mind can make alterations of any kind, without limits or obstacles. 3 stable levels of dreams can be constructed, and beneath them is limbo. You enter limbo by going to sleep, or dying, in level 3. You can't dream a constructed dream in that level, 3, so when you drop down from there, you necessarily enter unconstructed dream space. If you die in level 3, you will enter limbo, but now you are likely to become lost in limbo and take it for true reality, as Inception illustrates in the case of the character Saito. Unfortunately, there are numerous logical difficulties with the concept of limbo in Inception. It's talked of as unconstructed dream space, but that's true of any dream as it begins. Prior to a dream, there is nothing there. Everything is unconstructed, everything has to be made from scratch as the dream unfolds, and it is the unconscious that is going to build everything in order for the conscious mind to experience it. So, limbo is really just the state prior to the beginning of any dream. In Inception, limbo takes on the appearance of an endless ocean. That's a suitable image. Or maybe nothing at all would suffice, or an empty white room. Limbo in Inception is talked about as a place with no limits, a dimension that can allow a dreamer to manifest their deepest desires. But, again, that's true of any dream. No one stops any dream from expressing the dreamer's deepest desires. In fact, it's a curious feature of Inception that the subject's projections that are inserted into the dream world are so dull, and so conditioned by the dream world. Why aren't they rapidly mutating as they do in normal dreams? Why don't all the dreamers switch between first and third person viewpoints? Why don't they caught in hyperloops where they become totally preoccupied with a particular emotion, or fixated on a particular person or situation, as happens in normal dreams? Why is there so little sex and kink, so little anxiety and mania? The dream world of Inception is so unlike a normal dream world that no one in it would ever be fooled. It would be experienced more as a shared virtual reality game than a shared dream. In Inception, we are told that Cobb and his wife Mal performed experiments to see how deep they could travel within their minds. Eventually, they manually dreamt themselves into limbo, where they were able to create a perfect environment together and feel like gods. But what would stop them from doing exactly the same thing in a level 1 dream of their own mutual construction and design? Why did they have to go to limbo? Any dream world provides what limbo provided, a blank canvas, an empty slate. Every time we dream, we start off with no dream content, and then the unconscious mind generates the content on the hoof. Inception talks about Cobb and Mal unwittingly trapping themselves in a world where they lose their awareness that the world they have created is not reality. But that's the case in any dream where you have failed to achieve lucidity. Inception talks about limbo having nothing in it except whatever was left behind by whoever was sharing the dream and been trapped down there before. Cobb and Maul previously built an enormous and elaborate city there, which had fallen into ruin and decay since their departure. But why would it decay? By what force? After all, it's not in physical space and time. There are bigger problems than that. Why would cities in limbo go on existing at all? No subjective dream survives the simple act of waking up. No one can go back and visit a dream world they made years before. Inception makes it seem like limbo is something that a dreamer carries around in their mind forever, and moreover is available for others to access if they share a dream with someone who had previously been there. In the normal logic of Inception, a dreamer produces a dream space, which is shared by all those participating in the shared dream. Yet, in the movie, the dreamers end up accessing a dream space, limbo, designed by people other than the dreamer, namely Cobb and Maul. In fact, all the sharers of the dream space have their own limbo, which is blank for all of them, since they have never been there, except Cobb. So, why don't their blank limbos count for more than Cobb's populated limbo? Why don't they take priority since there are more of them? The logic of shared dreaming in Inception is that the participants are all inside a collective mental space established by the dreamer who establishes the dream design. But limbo then takes them out of that and places them in a dream designed years earlier by someone who is not the dreamer. They have accessed a completely different mental space, independent of the dream architecture and actually dredged up from one participant's mind, but not accessing the corresponding feature in the minds of the other participants. This makes no sense. The most logical person to supply limbo is of course the dreamer himself, the person who designed the rest of the dream, with its 3 levels. His mind, as the controlling mind, should be one that furnishes limbo. But, of course, that would be no good for the plot of the movie. Many movies, for the sake of the plot, have to sacrifice the core logic of the scenario. The trick is to pull it off as unobtrusively as possible. Inception does it well. You need to think hard about it to see the fundamental problems. Real dreams. Inception provides a fascinating exploration of the theory and practice of shared dreaming, but it has almost no connection to reality. Each of us dreams via our personal unconscious, and we can create dreams within dreams. We don't fall into limbo when we leave the dream space of the personal unconscious. Rather, we fall into the collective dream space of the collective unconscious. The collective dream space is none other than the real world, the objective world. The critical consideration to bear in mind is that the real world can be presented from 2 different perspectives. 1, from physical bodies inside the material world of space and time, and 2, from immaterial minds outside the material world of space and time. Both are accessing exactly the same world and information, but from opposite perspectives. One is from inside space-time and the other is from outside space-time. One is the inside view and the other the outside view. One is the local view and the other the non-local view. An OBE is possible, of course, only from the latter perspective. You are no longer seeing the world from a local, fixed position, fixed, that is, by your fixed physical body, but from a perspective not limited by physicality. In an OBE, people typically explore the geographical area they are familiar with. If they wished, they could go to other planets, other stars, other galaxies, and to even more exotic destinations of the mind, but that rarely occurs to them. Most people in an OBE are highly provincial and parochial. It has to be stressed that in OBE you are not moving through space and time. You are not in space and time at all. You are in the mental singularity. What you are doing is processing space-time information from a singularity perspective and converting it in your mind into what your mind is familiar with, the space-time experience normally provided via your body. In real life, pairs of minds, or groups of minds, can come together to share a common mental space and common dream space. This is true shared dreaming. The collective architect. In Inception, one person, the architect, designs the dream world. In reality, the true architect is the collective unconscious and it designs the real, objective world that we all live in. In Inception, one person is the subject of the shared dream. In reality, we are all the subjects of the shared dream. We are all linked to the collective unconscious, with its archetypal instincts. In this real world, we all have active consciousness. We are lucid dreamers in this world, up to a point. We are having a lucid experience. but we are not lucid enough. In particular, we are not lucid enough to know that this lucid experience is itself still essentially a dream. We don't realize that we can collectively alter this dream, just as a private lucid dreamer can privately alter their private dream. Only then, when we have reached that realization, will we have become truly lucid. In private dreaming, the personal unconscious is the dream architect. In a private dream, the conscious mind, in passive mode, is the pseudo-subject. The real subject is the unconscious itself. In lucid dreaming, the conscious mind becomes active and can use the personal unconscious to serve as its personal architect, designing for it rather than allowing it to do its own thing. The same considerations apply to collective lucidity. We are far from that point, and science, materialism, and religion, faith and mysticism, are the central obstacles. The collective unconscious. Reality is entirely contained within a single point, the singularity. This singularity is an immaterial hive mind, outside space and time. Space and time are simply mathematical perspectives that can be achieved within this singularity, and they constitute material reality, based on physical bodies. Their task is to create the local, as opposed to the non-local. Information is locally available to physical bodies, via physical sense organs. The same information, and much more besides, global information, not local information, is available to the mind freed of the body, the non-local mind. So, to be clear, all of the information in the singularity is purely mental information, but it can be divided up into space and time information, thus providing a physical space-time perspective and framework. The